Federal Housing Administration loans, FHA loans, are government-insured loans that work well for buyers with limited income or limited credit who plan to use the home as their primary residence. The FHA program was established after the defaults and foreclosures that occurred in the 1930s. FHA loans are available for eligible first-time homebuyers and, in some cases, previous homeowners. They fund owner-occupied home purchases and require a lower down payment and lower credit score. There are generous seller concessions of up to 6% of the purchase price. Down payments can be gifted and mortgage insurance is required. The size of the loan is also limited and the amount depends on which county the property is located. If you want to buy Central Florida real estate with an FHA loan, you'll need to be aware of these requirements established by the Federal Housing Authority. Borrowers must have a steady employment history or worked for the same employer for the past 2 years. Borrowers must have a valid Social Security number, lawful residency in the U.S., and be of legal age to sign a mortgage. Borrowers must pay a minimum down payment of 3.5%. The money can be gifted by a family member. New FHA loans are only available for primary residence occupancy. Borrowers must have a property appraisal from an FHA-approved appraiser. Borrowers' front-end ratio, mortgage payment plus HOA fees, property taxes, mortgage insurance, and homeowner's insurance needs to be less than 31% of their gross income. Now, you may be able to get approved with as high a percentage as 40%. Your lender will be required to provide justification as to why they believe the mortgage presents an acceptable risk. The lender must include any compensating factors used for approval. Borrower's back-end ratio, mortgage plus all your monthly debt such as credit card payments, student loans, etc., needs to be less than 43% of gross income, typically. You may be able to get approved with as high a percentage as 50%. Your lender will be required to provide justification as to why they believe the mortgage presents an acceptable risk. The lender must include any compensating factors used for loan approval. Borrowers must have a minimum credit score of 580 for maximum financing with a minimum down payment of 3.5%. Borrowers must have a minimum credit score of 500 to 579 for maximum loan-to-value of 90% with a minimum down payment of 10%. FHA qualified lenders will use a case-by-case basis to determine an applicant's creditworthiness. Typically, borrowers must be 2 years out of bankruptcy and have reestablished good credit. Exceptions can be made if you're out of bankruptcy for more than 1 year if there were extenuating circumstances beyond your control that caused the bankruptcy and you've managed your money in a responsible manner. Typically, borrowers must be 3 years out of foreclosure and have reestablished good credit. Exceptions can be made if there were extenuating circumstances and you've improved your credit. If you were unable to sell your home because you had to move to a new area, this does not qualify as an exemption to the 3-year foreclosure guideline. Now, the property must meet certain minimum standards at appraisal. If the home you're purchasing does not meet these standards and a seller will not agree to the required repairs, your only option is to pay for the required repairs at closing, to be held in escrow until the repairs are complete. In addition to lower down payment requirements, there are a few other advantages to using an FHA loan. These loans are assumable, which means that if you want to sell your home, the buyer can assume the loan you have. If you've gone through bankruptcy or foreclosure, or you have had some credit problems in the past, you may still qualify for a loan. This is often one of the easiest mortgages to qualify for. If you have any questions about mortgage loans or anything pertaining to Orlando real estate, please contact us at Legends Realty.